if one does not understand his or her mother tongue, or is not able to speak it, they take pride. They are proud of it. They take pride in that. Sometimes I get surprised.
Moving straight to another interesting conversation is the big plate. And over here, we have amazing topics to discuss and get you relevant answers you need. Kindly subscribe to our socials at Onekingmultimedia. It's still the One King Show. And tonight on the big plate, we are having a conversation centered on neglect of mother tongue as first language for children and its effect on cultural identity in Ghana. So we live in an era where globalization has made a lot of people neglect their, the first language. When you come to the Western region, to be specific, this is noted to be the Ahanta and Nzimaland. But a lot of people speak Fanti. A lot of people don't even know their hometown language, the Wases, the Ahantad enzymes, and all of that. So let's quickly run through this and take a look at the language and cultural preservation. Now, when I'm not able to speak my mother tongue, how can I preserve my language and then the culture with which I come from? Christero.
Hetty, thank you very much. I think that in fact, we have to understand that language has a special link with cultural identity.
Right.
And so if you do not understand your mother tongue, it takes you away from that connection, that link between yourself and then your culture. Language plays a very vital role. If you really want to be identified as person A, person B, you say you are an Ewe, you say you are a Gan. You do not understand Ewe or you do not understand Gan. What makes you a Gan? Then people begin to ask questions. Unfortunately for us these days, if one does not understand his or her mother tongue or is not able to speak it, they take pride. They are proud of it. They take pride in that. Sometimes I get surprised. You are staying here in Ghana. Not that the person was born outside of Ghana. The person stays here in Ghana. Probably staying within that community as well. And the person cannot speak his or her mother tongue or understand it. I get confused.
You want to understand.
Yes, I get confused. I was in church some time ago when a pastor called a boy, wanted to pray for the boy, and when he spoke, Chi, people were their parents, and he doesn't understand Chi. A boy of about 6 years. He doesn't understand. And the man was like, why? Was he brought from outside? I said, no, he stays here in Ghana and he does not understand Twi.
I feel guilty here.
You understand? So for me, language really preserves our culture. It has a special link in there. And we must try as much as possible to make our children, we should train our children that way. You know that if you go to GES, children growing up, I think from from the early stages of nursery and primary school, we are supposed to teach, a teacher is supposed to teach the kids with what we call the L1, that is the motherland, the mother tongue. Local.
So coming to that one, very necessary. Shanzi, I quickly want to ask, according to research, just like you were saying, when the child is being taught how to speak the mother language, it helps academic-wise and all of that. But then we are in a certain or a generation where mothers speak English to their children at home. When they are speaking the local language or their mother tongue, they shy them away from it. Don't do this. When you go to sit down, come and eat fufu.
There's a reason
I'm
for
coming.
that.
Come
There's
and do
a
all
reason
that.
for that.
They are pushing English
There's a reason
on the
for
children.
that.
How do we go about this? Since it's starting from home, day one, they give birth to the baby. Your name is Hetty. No, you are this. Don't, baby, don't cry. Now they don't sing baby cat food. All they do is cocoa melon. Or we say cocoa melon to the children. Now baby cat food is not there anymore. They don't do that anymore. So now let's look at that. How this mother tongue issue and then academics. How do we do this? Okay. Since this problem is even starting from home.
All right. So I was going to say this after Christian's submission, that even the parents are not actually speaking their languages to their children. They are actually kind of say forcing English on these children.
Yeah.
Inti akolano no mama ho no obastador kasa. Inti kasa de bechen no ono no so obusia. I'll start in the brofuna de chana. Over the baby can dema a Christian 6 years. He can't even speak you can't say Mr. Chi and as a fancy. Brofon kwa no kan. It's no mama funa kasa no first issue and as a parent, no your mama fun be parent no and I want on one you know. The language they speak is what the child is going to adopt or adapt into. If the people around him are speaking this kind of language, that is the language. So when you find yourself in a home where people around the child actually speak fancy, bro, Photoshop will be a problem. You understand? So it's actually the language that people around him actually speak, and that is what he's going to adopt. Now, this is the situation where some of the parents can't even speak their own languages.
I remember I went to visit a friend, who has a child. And and this child is, just as I said, the English is being
imposed on the child.
Good, so akraneka brofo ba unim nana. Yeah, nana no maybe wa brofi. And he was trying to feed the little girl. Oh, Nana, ma, come and get. For a second, I also say, what Madame for no, many need to say the little thing will laugh. So I'm not sure. Also, Nana, ma, come and get. See, ready. Nana, ma, come and get. Come and get. Bad grammar. And little ones who take bad grammar to school. I tell you.
Grandma is speaking grammar.
Wait, bars. And the way American Mama one language, and some of them feel like speaking their languages is actually
a bad thing. Like they are shy.
They're shy of it. It's quite shameful to them. It's a disgrace. Recently, say what I didn't work. I want to
she says she's sorry.
I just want to make an example with that. The surnames are the you understand? Say once you are if feel that I'm not saying to me be I'm fun in the wrong way, but I'm just
you can't tell us what to do.
You understand? Make it it was because the Cassano now because of the why the echo Ndoma while my brand who fine girl be while I will give in a wadi be she'll make up in that on hey it won't want to put on the Monte but now Ottoman coffin or coming what are you saying what you understand? So sometimes they feel ashamed to speak their own languages and all that, and it results to all these things that now children can't even speak their own mother tongues but rather English.
Kofi Ansah, let's look at the discussion where we are highlighting on the importance of preserving linguistic diversity. The need for parents, to try to make the little ones from day one. The moment they start talking, the need for parents to help children get used to their language. Let's look at that one.
2022 UNESCO the report there, and what captured we pay much attention to multilingual education because prior to that, now watch 40% of students, maybe one share task because of language barrier. Into on here there, near certain something, even with education, on here they be a mother tongue, like ebeti and ebeti maka. Now your whole society be like how we know and we intelligence level what for judge based on brofi ebeti maka. Say for be 5 work and blah I would you know one power when me answer sebi
and
Albon mama find them Albon into be a peded. There's a reason why I say obi on peded baboko side too because I told this I you know say you can rhymes now and I say like energy there the better like private school man what yentimi ye atasa yentimi ye but I want the anya hwekura no obi okọ private school wa bon like wa bon kura no service no brofo party otimika atmasa nti obi aso pede ne ba ye bi ye ne ba kra brofo na amde nti then time say wo kura se no awale na no o cousin bi fi akrabo hey grandma
granny
wa man no do what na ka tina na ndo why that mark na mama do ne ya kan nti next time so pede maka grandma ni bi into orientation no one
grandma where they are
one them sister kasa no bia the last week ana Kofi Kinato baby no record on che bia fanta kasa no po be you into why is so intentional or akrampo na so obi hia no pedal country stop pedal ka fancy because na kasa no kofo no fear dey kwa akrampo o hia no pedal country
yeah
on reason why
I don't know done
and if fancy no roko no fancy na sisi roko no na fanzima na anta fa
why you cry
no obey your coincidence na so de no njumbe nkofun so yenzima even me ya anta for from obisa me de Kofi Kinato wo kakra no yenzima ya no ya anta even nkofo ya anta for
linguistic
basta na wanta ase atima senti say enti me am preserve yan nyamanya mebi na ye na ade okay brofo nkwete na you know god them men dam nyamanya na bro on che bi bon de wo ya ade wo fie enti me mba because some so what baby and what can assemble of here like assemblies within us who bu amara na why bibi there enter what can brofo because 77 na no instead no anu want brofo no take bibi a che wana ukrom kasa na de baka but I went into ebe yinim po another bibi na say ba like man be yede ada why mantasi bia next member
oba ha be yede
be yede na nti say nyama yen mother tongue no onyen yantas yentim yanke bi na yen adwo kesisia fine me jitum de bro for kasa nsisi on na wade bibia even where yen media no do mpo de movies obi apedo kan bro for ne bi matter ase dem even with that no still all they preserve your mother tongue no say na adwo ko biara and say obi apedo kan bro for ndi Charlie man te hwe kura me pidgin de odem de film na mokwa a time will come me bo de wo ya de wo fia entim nko.
Nice one. Now let's look at the educational challenges and accessibility. Let me take it from you since you're already in the educational sector. So let's look at the challenges faced by children who are not, proficient in their mother language.
I would say that
does it really matter? Because
I haven't seen that yet. Those who are not
being a challenge.
Those that are not proficient in their mother tongue facing challenges in terms of education here in Ghana, because even now they want to prioritize the study of English. That is where we are heading towards. They want to prioritize literacy and numeracy. That is, they are setting aside English language and mathematics. And if you look at everything that we do, the science, the maths, the social studies,
they are all English.
They are all English. So you need to have very good basic English. You should be able to, speak good English.
But don't you think when it comes to, I know saying in a school, we have Fanti, right?
There's
so
Fanti.
Ghanaian language.
Ghanaian language. Go and check the Ghanaian language papers if there's no English in it.
So I'm trying to say the Ghanaian language, when it comes to the west side, I was thinking, why don't they rather put either a hunter or Nzema so that the kids or the students make a trip? Because when you go to Kumasi, it's tree.
Yeah.
They don't teach Fanti or whatever, Accra or Ghana. No, it is Tree. And that because this is our land, we speak Tree. When you go to Accra, it is Ghana. You understand?
Yeah,
maybe they put French. I think the university or SS is where you have the
but
choice.
It is mostly Ghana. I mean, for the basic schools.
So don't you think that in the Western region we can forgo this Fanti and teach a Hanta and Nzima?
It depends on how the Ahantas and the Nzimas have also marketed the language.
But that is the language here.
How wide the language is also spoken. If you walk in town, how many times do you hear people speaking Nzima or Ahanta? If you go to Accra, you hear Gan. I am telling you.
From the Trotro, yeah.
You hear Gan everywhere. Not only Choko or Jamestown. You hear Gan on the streets of Accra.
Yeah.
You understand? If you go to the north, you hear their languages there. The Garis and the Gumba language, what's the name? Dagbani. You understand? You hear those languages. Here, how many times? Unless you go to the interior, maybe Aguna, from Aguna going, you hear them, speak the language, the Hanta, and then when you enter Yinase and those places, you can hear, you can hear the Nzima as well. But here in Sekedi Takrade, I beg you, they beg how many times did they hear say that they speak the sentence? So for me, I mean, in terms of education, right from day one, people are teaching their children how to speak good English. And that is what we have in our books. If you go to Asia, now they are teaching their children in schools how to speak English. And those ones are not for educational purposes, but for communication purposes. But we here, we in our education everywhere, every setting, it is English. It is not communication purpose. We don't teach English in school, aside from for communication purposes. But all the other things that we do, the maths, the science and social studies, every other thing is in English. So here, for education and for communication purposes, English dominates here. But if you go elsewhere, like the Asian countries, I'm sure they do their maths and the other stuff if you go to Japan, they do Japanese. If you go to China and all those places, they do their maths and those things in their language. But they also learn English for communication purposes. You understand? So it is up to us. This thing is a tough thing. I don't know how it is going to be, unless if we decide that we want to go the Ghanaian language, the Ghanaian language way, then it means that all the other things that we have in the science and everything should be in Ghana. But once we have them in English, I'm sorry, you prioritize English. That is why you would want your children right from day one begin to speak English from home.
Interesting. Now let's finally look at this one. Do you think that a neglect of mother tongue can also have socioeconomic implications? There are times where you have what do you call it? Maybe there's this contract for from a company, and because you speak the same language with the person, it favors you. Or once the person realizes, then you miss that one. Are those things possible? Let's do this quickly. Shanti.
Momono from onset Sadia na yankwasi asem o ampa the mother nanka so yembele some papa yes yeah baby was the ma or your favoritism and now your ethnic something is it favoritism
and
nepotism oh nyanse bi anim nti wo krom ni nti no okay ehu do mo krom ni wa agboni po de baman na ebia obi a onye wo krom ni ebia oya woni nti da man baby ebia oye fanti no be no on mum nanka or fit in what the matter kono oye wo krom ni nti da man
assuming there ebia nkofutu ni work the same qualification oku ye wo krom ni na oku so fi other side the same qualification
first come first serve
and when over the same time
over the same ebe interview nya at the same time
was an email pa
was an email that was it sometimes say coffee mama can't make sure sometimes sometimes it's the same qualification, all right? But it's only be some questions. You can't tell me where to look. Sometimes, you know, Nipakun is looking out for something particular. And see, okay, we're good with this, but Operation is something different because when you want qualification, of course, so means the mad name will be that. There, Ebia, at the corner, but when okay, when you what's me the madi, but Mamma fan for the Mosha, the some of the Fahadia, when you betima in a different aspect. Maybe a Nipakun, but say I catch them there, Ebia, Nipakun, woo chrome ni or ye woo ni pebia, and if you the same hometown in Sadamana. First of all, I want to or ye adibi only the yasu sodo or Ghana hadi. And you know, or ye bibia only the yasu sodo or Ghana hadi. But then on also soon shade minu krum kasana de like kwe from the kasano only there or that because it's very important for you to know where you're from, your identity and all that. We should put all these things. And when there's something, you're a big, you know, big girls like that, other big boys. We feel like there are certain things that we have to exempt ourselves from. And this is where you come from, your cultural background. Though. There's nothing you can do about it. Say, if you are, but I came you the way you understand? So we have to be very particular about this, and then learn our mother tongue.
Let's learn our mother tongue. A big thank you going out to each and everyone who has made it for tonight's show, and a special thanks to our subscribers for being part of our community. Kindly subscribe to our page at Onekingmultimedia and expect exclusive content each and every time, and join our live every Friday and Tuesday. On that note, thank you so much for your time on today's show. We are back same time next time.